Let me see. Who's that? Is that Rebecca?
Yep. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you all?
Doing great. Got like a little background, purple background.
Yeah, I'm like candlelight.
All right. We are happy and pleased to have you with us, Rebecca and Zeba. We're happy to have you here. We may every once in a while we'll have some knockers on the door for some little ghosts and goblins and witches and warlocks that are coming to get some treats. So we will take turns going to the door to pass these things out. All right. So we are starting on paragraph 2. We finished up on paragraph 2, but I kind of want to get a running start at paragraph 2. Yes, we are on chapter 9, part 2, answer to prayer. The answer to prayer, paragraph 2. Find him?
Oh, it's gonna take, because it's been a while since
That's
that
fine.
video.
That's fine.
Just keep going.
Dad, why don't you read paragraph 2 there?
All right. Let us suppose then that what you asked of the Holy Spirit is what you really want, but you are still afraid of it. Should this be the case, your attainment of it would no longer be what you want. There are certain specific forms of healing, even when the state of healing is. An individual may ask for physical healing because he is fearful of bodily harm. At the same time, if he were healed physically, the threat to his thought system might be considerably more fearful to him than its physical expression. In this case, he is not really asking for release from fear, but for the removal of a symptom selected. This request is therefore not for healing at all.
Okay. So does anybody want to expound on paragraph 2 that we just read? Does any part of paragraph 2 that my father read speak to anyone? Okay. I'm sorry, you about to say something, Zeba?
Yes, I think, part of it all of it speaks to me, especially the part that says, if you think that your prayers have not been answered, it may be that you really were afraid of them being answered. You're not sure. You're not sure how what will come out as a result if your problem is answered. So, and the part that is interesting to me is that it's talking about the fact that when we feel, when we ask for healing, because we're afraid, and the reality is the Holy Spirit or God wants us to be afraid, and when we're afraid, we're not looking for healing because we're afraid. We just cannot.
Zeba, your voice is like going in and out. I'm not sure, why that is. But okay. Is it, are you, Or is it the microphone or where you're speaking? It just seems like your voice is going in and out.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it was just, you know, do you have it on computer audio or do you have it on telephone audio? What do you have?
Computer.
Computer audio, and are you on your computer right now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. We'll just keep trying. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you all very well.
Okay, and Rebecca, can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Rebecca, were you able to hear Ziba okay? Was her voice going in and out to you?
Yeah, there was some wobbling, and I'm using my computer audio as well. It does seem, I think, a little bit more vulnerable than a phone connection.
Right. Okay. All right.
How that goes for all of us.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Ziba, you can also use your phone to do the link as well while you're still there, and use your phone to do voice audio, and then you can just speak through your phone. I just want you to know that there's a way there's a workaround for that. Okay.
I'm going to use a microphone now because I was using the computer
Okay.
audio.
Oh, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, it may be better. So,
That's perfect. Thank you so much. It sounds a lot better. Thank you.
sure. I hope so.
All right. All right. So I'm going to mute. Hold on. There we go. All right. I had to mute you, Ziba, because there's a lot of noise going on. So whenever you want to talk, just unmute yourself and just go ahead and continue to talk. So does anyone want to talk about this paragraph? Now, in this paragraph where it says that, let us suppose then that what you ask of the Holy Spirit is what you really want, but you are still afraid of it, okay? Should this be the case, your attainment of it would no longer be what you want. This is why certain specific forms of healing are not achieved, even when the state of healing is. An individual may ask for physical healing because he is fearful of bodily harm. At the same time, if he were healed physically, a threat to his thought system might be considerably more fearful to him than its physical expression. In this case, he is not really asking for release from fear, but for the removal of a symptom that he himself selected. This request is therefore not for healing at all. So does anybody want to talk about that?
Well, it just kind of, what that does is verifies something that many physicians, surgeons, so forth, say, is that there are people that are receiving exactly the right and perfect care being called for by the diagnosis, by their illness or whatever, but it seems that they don't really want to be healed.
Mm-hmm.
And what I got from that was that sometimes we're getting more from what we don't want than we think we're going to get from what we say we want. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you make sense. We were talking last time a little bit about it. We were touching on it. I don't think you were here, but we were saying that sometimes that people will desired healing, but then there's something that they're actually getting from the sickness with that makes it where they really don't want to be healed, because then they will be giving up something. So if they were getting sympathy, for example, this is just an example, from, you know, family members and things like that, and people caring for them, and they're actually looking at that sickness as a pathway or a doorway to what they consider love, okay, then they're not going to really want to be willing, even though they may say they want to be healed, and deep down they may not want healing at all. That's just an example.
And we're very powerful.
Yeah.
So that if we want what is against our best, that which is best for us, get that. I mean, we created everything else that we see going, right? We created all of this.
Right.
So we can create not being healed. And the example of that, this doctor said, this woman hadn't seen her sister in person in about 20 years. And when she was so ill, leading her surgery, her sister came from, I don't know where she was, it was really far away, and stayed with her, taking care of her the whole time. And the surgery, once she had recovered from the surgery, she was going to be fine, and she could be up and about again and doing things and taking care of herself. Well, that was the problem. Her illness had attracted her sister to her, and she hadn't seen in over 20 years. And the love and the joy and the comfort of that was so much that she was resisting the natural outcome of that surgery.
Okay. She was enjoying being with her sister.
Yeah, because she was she was lonely. She didn't have any of her family or anything.
So if she gets healed, her sister leaves, and she doesn't have a family with her anymore. Right.
Well, that's what she thought. How does she know?
Right, that's true.
That the sister might say, you know what, I want to be here more.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But her perception was that her sister was going to go back, it was Canada, someplace. And she wasn't ever going to see her again, or not see her for another 20 years or whatever. So that's what this is saying.
Better to stay sick.
That's true though.
Right.
But that's what that is saying to me. Yeah.
Okay. You look like you had something you want to say there?
No, I'm just thinking about what Sheila just said.
Oh, okay.
The lady actually didn't want to recover because then she felt she would lose the companionship of her sister. So that's something else.
Yeah, but that's how powerful we are.
Yeah. I've known people like that. I've known people that embrace their sickness and that carry it like a badge. Yeah, like a badge of honor. Exactly. Like a badge of honor. And they embrace it so much, they say, my illness. Yeah, it's like this illness actually has a persona and walks around with them. So it's like, it's not just one person comes into the room, it's two of them, them and their illness. And refer to it. Like, you might as well just give it a name or something. You want to call it Fred or something. You know what I mean? Me and Fred. So is healing necessarily possible when you've developed such an affinity for this? Perhaps not.
Not in that case.
Yeah, perhaps not.
Because we were given the ability to co-create. Got it? So it doesn't say anywhere only positive things.
Yeah, you can't heal somebody against their will. Not at all.
And we can create anything.
All right. All right. Trick or treaters, I want to, you guys can talk about that.
So it's fascinating, though, Robert. That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful we are. Which lets us know that anything that we want to create, we can do it. So
I would like to be sick. don't enjoy pain.
So Zeba or Rebecca, you guys have any comments about what we just discussed?
She didn't necessarily like to support it. She liked having the attention of her
I heard what you're
sister,
saying, yeah.
and she was willing to experience the pain or suffering just to
have her
have that
sister's
comfort and that
companion.
love that she didn't have. Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
There's many cases of that, and as a matter of fact, if you really want to read more about that, there are case files from psychotherapists and
Yes.
psychologists
Yes.
about people that embrace their sickness because they get something out of it. They're getting something emotional out of it, and an emotional need is being fulfilled from their illness. So, but yes, there's a lot of stuff about that. Did any of you all want to make any comments about this paragraph?
No, it all makes powerful sense to me. I think it actually applies to most of us in that there's this whole business thing called immunity to change about how complex change is hard because we have built-in ways of retaining equilibrium, whatever it is. And weight loss is a great example. Why is it so hard?
Hello, how are you?
The theory is pretty simple, right? Move more, eat less. But the majority of us, I think, have deeply ingrained sicknesses of various kinds that persist because a part of us likes them, is attached to them. Finds comfort in company.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I hadn't thought about the weight loss thing.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that either.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, but
But you're right, that's another one.
you make a good point there. Yeah. All right. Any other aspect of paragraph 2 before we move on to paragraph 3? Anybody? Zeba, you got anything to ask about that?
No, I think that was perfect explanation.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to paragraph 3. Does Rebecca, would you like to read paragraph 3?
Sure, we'll find out how my audio holds up on my
Okay. All right.
But tell me if I start to waver.
All right.
The Bible emphasizes that all prayer is answered, and this is indeed true. The very fact that the Holy Spirit has been asked for anything will ensure a response. Yet it is equally certain that no response given by him will ever be one that would increase fear. It is possible that his answer will not be heard. It is impossible, however, that it will be lost. There are many answers you have already received, but you have not yet heard. I assure you that they are waiting for you.
Okay. All right. So, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I totally agree on that. You get to prayer, yes. I get that, but just like the other paragraph, the same thing. Prayer is answered. However, in our minds, it is not answered sometimes as we thought it should be answered. Even though when we pray, we are praying for the God-directed outcome or the Holy Spirit-directed outcome, right? However, in the back of our minds, we too have an outcome.
Right.
And once again, it's a dance or a feud, when we would put it, between those two.
Right.
But yes, all prayer is answered.
Yeah.
It may not look like you wanted it to.
Right. Right.
Because sometimes we're coming from our ego perspective, but it has been answered.
Yep. I agree. And of course, the miracles also says that, it's always answered, even though even though you may not see it, even though perhaps in the temporal time, you may not see the visible manifestation of it, until later, but all prayer is answered. It does say that in Course in Miracles. Yep.
And I have looked back on things that I have prayed for, and much later can see why the answer that I got was the answer that I got.
Mm-hmm.
That really it was the answer I was meant to have.
Right.
Because I have said, oh God, that prayer, I'll be talking about, oh my God, that prayer was answered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But because it didn't show up in the color, size, shape, temperature, packaging, whatever.
Well, we expected it to show up, right? Well, we expected it to show up. You know what I mean? Exactly. Go ahead, say it. Well, we expected it to show up as. Exactly. Exactly.
And even though we many times say, especially in unity, this or something greater, right?
Right. This is something greater.
Yeah. Or your will be done.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need?
That is true. And you know something? I have even found myself being hesitant of saying this is something greater because no, I want that. Go right back to what we're talking about. I want that. I don't want something. No. I want that. So again, right. And it could definitely very well maybe something better. But at the same time, I have found myself, I'm speaking for me, I have found myself hesitant of saying this or something better because I wanted it to manifest exactly as I wanted it to manifest. I wanted that. Yeah. Serious.
If it had manifested exactly how we wanted to, it might have been the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So very interesting. So let's move on. Claudia, why don't you read paragraph 4?
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Here, okay. So where it says there are many answers you have already received, but not yet heard, I assure you that they are waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
So there are answers that we have already received, but not yet heard.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Hold on.
yeah, I'm not sure what exactly that means.
Well, it was just what we were talking about, Zeba, as far as when we have an expectation that the prayer is going to be answered in a certain manner, and that closes us to the prayer being answered in another manner, because looking for the prayer to show up in the manner that we were expecting it to. In other words, we're putting expectations, and it's basically numbing us or numbing us to the actual prayer still being answered because we're not seeing it, because it's not showing up the way we thought it was going to show up. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but then why it says, I assure you that they are waiting for you. So
your recognition.
The answers are waiting for you.
The answers to your prayer are waiting for you.
Right, they're waiting for you.
Yeah, they're waiting for you to recognize them, Dozy.
to recognize. Okay.
And here's something that I use when I pray for something, and I'm pretty sure it's been answered, but I'm not seeing it. And I will say, help me to see what I need to see in order to embrace this gift from you.
Thank you.
Help me to see what I need to see in order to accept and embrace this gift from you. Because I know all prayers answered. So then I just ask to be able to see it.
Yeah. All prayer is answered. Sometimes
so I'm sorry.
Ability to see it. Sometimes our ability to see it doesn't coincide, though.
Yeah, I was thinking all prayers are answered, but we are not able to receive them all the time. So is receiving the same as hearing?
See it and hear, yeah.
Yeah,
same
because
thing.
if you don't recognize it, how can you really receive it?
Right,
I mean, if you don't really recognize it, Ziba,
Right.
because you were expecting it to show up as something else, how can
Right.
you really receive it? So it's the same thing, Ziba.
Okay, thank you.
No
Clear.
problem. No problem. All right. So we're going to move on to paragraph 4 with Claudia.
You know your prayers are answered. Never doubt a son of God. Don't question him and don't confound him. For your faith in him is your faith in yourself. You will know God and his answer. Believe in me, whose faith in you can reach. And those
oh, it's a bunch of them.
Okay, all right. Very good, okay. All right, that's one for you. No problem. One for you.
Thank you, mister.
You're welcome. One for you. You're welcome.
Their prayers are being
I
answered.
had a kid one year, 22 years old, smoking a cigarette and trick or treating.
Hey, look, I did that as an adult. Me and my adult friends would go, yeah.
As an adult.
Got dressed up and went trick or treating. Yeah.
This is a couple. I don't know.
Wow. I mean, I want to run out of candy so that way I can turn off the light.
Okay, let me go back again.
All right.
You're subject to them doing something to the house.
Wait, I'm listening.
You will know your prayers are answered. Never doubt a
I'll
son of
start from
God.
the beginning again.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Oh,
From the
yes.
beginning.
Oh, okay.
That's the first
Then I go back again.
sentence.
Okay.
You will know your prayers are answered. Never doubt the Son of God. Do not question him and do not confound him. For your faith in him is your faith in yourself. You will know God and his answer. Believe in me, whose faith in you can reshake it. And you ask of the Holy Spirit truly, and doubt your brother? Believe his words are true because of the truth that is in him. You will unite him, the truth in him, and his words will be true. As you hear him, you will hear me. Listening to truth is the only way you can hear it now, and finally know it.
All right. What do y'all think about that one?
It's a little bit more intertwined with, hearing your brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember what I felt about this right now, so I'm trying to
That's kind of
reflect on
weird.
it.
Like,
Mm-hmm. And if I know Jesus, I know he's going to kind of wrap it up in the next couple of paragraphs as far as like make sense as far as what we just read. But let's see if we can just break it apart a little bit. Let's play with it. Let me see a little bit. And Rebecca and Ziba, feel free to chime in anytime.
I was just thinking about, I had a meeting at work yesterday that was surprisingly conflictual. And I just felt bad about it last night. And I was trying to make sense. These are nice people. And then this morning, one coworker emailed and said, "What did you think of that meeting?" And I walked up to her, it felt bad. I don't quite know what happened, but it felt hard. And I don't know why it felt that hard. And she said, yeah, it felt hard to her. And then I had a meeting with another coworker. I said, "What did you think of that meeting?" And I said, "It felt bad to me." He said, "Well, I felt anxiety in the room." And I said, "That's interesting. I hadn't quite felt it just that way." He said, "I just thought anxiety went from person A to person B and it went around the room." And I thought, well, that's really beautiful to hear that truth, his truth. And then I'll be darned, I didn't bump into a third coworker, the one with whom the primary conflict had occurred. I almost never. I bumped into him on my way out of the building. He's like, Rebecca, what did you think of that meeting? And I said, well, I kind of felt bad. He said, well, I felt like I didn't make clear what I wanted to say. And it's just so interesting to me that by allowing other people to speak their truth, I was able to see, I feel a deeper truth of that situation and how it was that in form we conflicted, even though in spirit none of us wished to. So that was just today's like Miracles 101 example for me. And it all happened in like 2 hours.
And everybody just started, and you guys received an email, and everybody just started kind of commenting on it, huh?
It was separate. That's the thing, it was separate one-to-one interactions with different people speaking their truth. And for once, I didn't talk over them. I just listened, and I allowed myself to understand how each person had experienced that meeting. And therefore, I think, by not questioning people, by not doubting my coworkers, believing their words were true, even though one of them I had experienced as difficult yesterday, I felt that I was able to understand their truth. Got it. Kind of like, it's kind of like when we're in Course in Miracles, as a matter of fact. And, it's like you're hearing different perspectives of the same thing, That's pretty cool. And I tell you, and I bet you it could be a whole lot of things. I mean, like, we could all read a short story and all have different interpretations, different, ways that we're reading it in, and gain a more full perspective of that same story based on hearing it from everybody. So you're hearing it from all of these different points of views and stuff, So yeah, absolutely.
Stephen?
Yes.
I have this part which says, as you hear him, you will hear me. Listening to truth is the only way you can hear it now and finally know it. So it's all talking about, my brother, whatever they're saying, my brother or brothers, whatever they're saying, they're revealing the truth. They're expressing the truth. But how do we know that all of us, probably all of us, if we're not enlightened, we sometimes speak through ego mind. So we are not able to speak the truth all the time because we're not always connected. So the way here, Jesus speaking about, whatever my brother is telling me is like my brother is always connected and is always revealing the word of the Christ.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I have some different take on this because I really, really believe it is saying that if our brothers tell us something, believe it. I don't see anywhere here, because of course the Holy Spirit is in our brother just as it is in us. But I don't see anything in here that says he's right. But that's what he believes.
Right.
That is his truth.
That is true.
Right. So for me, it's saying, believe him.
Yeah.
Believe in what he says. What is, because it's his truth.
Exactly. And see, and that's the whole thing. Honestly, there is no right. To be honest with you, I mean, to be honest with you, there is no right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I mean, we strive so hard to say that our position is right. You know,
That person's is wrong.
and you know, and if our position is right through that very logic, because we're logical, you know, and that's definitely ego.
Yes.
So you know, ego has is logical. So because of that logic that we are right, that automatically, based on that logic, there can only be one right. You see what I'm saying? Based on that logic. You see? So, but in actuality, in truth, there is no right, to be honest with you. And so everyone, what they believe in, essentially is going to be right anyway for them, because it is going to be their truth. And the world that they perceive is going to come from that truth. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right.
So you're saying even when people are lying, it's still their truth?
Well, what I'm saying is, we're not saying deliberately deceiving. That's not what we just said. What we're saying is that if someone is speaking the truth as they see it, you know, there is no right or wrong at that point. They are speaking the truth as they see it. And that is how they see it. That is their truth. So if you really want to understand them, you have to acknowledge and accept their truth, and that is their truth. So we're not talking about lying in this. Let's just keep lying out of that, because that just complicates things. Let's just say that when everybody's talking, everybody's basically telling their truth, and no one has to make up a story or whatever. So,
Okay.
So from their truth, it's correct. That is their truth.
And if we believe their truth for them, then we can ultimately, they will begin to align with our truth for us.
Exactly. And that is what the Atonement is all about.
Yes.
Because now you are uniting with your brother, and you're gaining a whole new perspective by merging and integrating your perspective with theirs. And so it may not be the exact same perspective, but it's almost like a hybrid perspective between yours and theirs. You know?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like Rebecca was talking about when she was talking about the email that was sent out to her, all of her colleagues. She was able to gain a different perspective, almost like a more universal perspective, by getting the different perspectives from all of her colleagues, including her own perspective. So she gained a more universal perspective than just seeing it from the standpoint of Rebecca.
Okay.
Although I would like to try to go ahead, I'm going to just ask if we can try including lying, because there's so much of it these days.
Okay.
And everything is, this is an all-inclusive text. So I'm going to propose, because I've also dealt with people who are sociopathic liars.
Okay.
And they were not in relationships.
Okay.
I'm going to propose, I'm thinking about one in particular several years ago, that he was speaking his truth, and his truth was fear.
Yeah.
And if I had recognized that truth and what he was saying, bypassed all the words, but recognized the fear that was emanating underneath all of that, I would have more successfully recognized his true self and had moments of union, even if we were generally in disunion.
Right.
Because if his truth was fear, it didn't really mean he was lying, because all he knew was coming from fear. So it wasn't really lying.
And let's just say he was.
Okay.
Let's just bring that dynamic in. I was really initially I want to have everybody grasp how we all grow from different perspectives. So yes, there may be some people that use untruths, and so deliberately use untruths. But keep in mind that, there is still a part of us, that still can recognize the lie. Somewhere deep down, there is a part of us that can recognize when someone is being deceiving,
But I heard compassion coming from her.
Right.
When she said that she realized that his truth
Came from fear. And
that's what you just said is compassion. I see that as compassion.
I see. Well, I do see.
Yeah, 5 years later.
Right.
Got it though,
But
right?
at the time, maybe not so much compassion, but definitely compassion now, Rebecca.
It's not compassion. Yeah.
Right.
And who said there was a time limit on compassion?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know something, we may not get it at that particular time, but at the same time, as we continue on in our journey, we get more and more.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there were things many years ago I had absolutely no compassion for.
And I want to say something about lying. When somebody feels compelled to lie, that is based on a fear because they are afraid of the truth. Okay? They are afraid of the truth. They are afraid of whatever they perceive the repercussions of the truth are going to be. Okay? So ultimately, yes, you do have to have compassion for this person because, somebody that wants to lie or feels that they have to lie, they are fearful of something.
Yes.
They are fearful of something. And somebody that's fearful of something, I have compassion for.
They feel threatened in some way.
Right.
Right. And
Exactly.
you have compassion for that fear and doubt that arises from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right.
That's gonna take a lot of daggone. I find it difficult to have compassion for somebody that I know is lying to me. I really find it difficult.
Got it.
I'm gonna have to work on that.
Just think about it. Think about
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Just think about it from a standpoint of they don't feel safe.
Exactly.
Okay? For someone to have to lie means they don't feel safe telling the truth. Because if they felt safe telling the truth, they would have told the truth. Okay? So you have to kind of look at it from that standpoint. And I can see that clearly because you know something? I've been there.
Been there too.
Okay?
Yeah.
I've been there. All right. So what I'm trying to say is you have to kind of look at it from that standpoint that they did not feel safe. So.
And even safety in terms of judgment. Perhaps if I tell the truth,
Somebody's going to judge me.
somebody will judge me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even when they get to that point where maybe they feel comfortable or some level of comfortability in telling that truth, then they feel there's another fear of being judged for not, for not telling the truth before. Okay, so they stay in the lie. They stay in the lie because they were afraid of just what you're talking about. They were afraid of being judged at that point. People don't like being judged. I don't like being judged. I don't like being judged, Dad. Do you like being judged?
No, I don't think anybody does.
Okay, so I'm just saying. So in other words, people will do things to prevent from being judged. That's what I'm saying.
I think at the same time, you might be yourself. In the result, you might.
Yeah, we do a lot of lying to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah. Sometimes we make stuff up.
Oh, yeah, that's you.
this is getting really, really interesting here, boy. We just really just, yeah, that's why I love these Course in Miracles evenings. I really do. I definitely do. Yep. So that was what, paragraph 4?
I don't know. Mine are not numbered.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I can help you on that one. I know the next one starts the message.
That was paragraph 4.
All right, so I'm going to read this and we're going to do an interpretation of this. And after that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. So, all right, paragraph 5. The message your brother gives you is up to you. What does he say to you? What would you have him say? Your decision about him determines the message you receive. It's kind of hot up in here.
Yes.
All right. Remember that the Holy Spirit is in him and his voice speaks to you through him. What can so holy a brother tell you except truth? But are you listening to it? Your brother may not know who he is, but there is a light in his mind that does know. This light can shine into yours, giving truth to his words and making you able to hear them. His words are the Holy Spirit's answer to you. Is your faith in him strong enough to let you hear?
Oh.
Okay, so everybody, we just gonna go home. We're gonna go home with that one. we gotta go home. Yeah, that was a deep one right there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. And I see someone just joined us. Looks like that is Krista. Krista, how you doing? Can you hear me, Krista? Hello? Well, maybe she's not, doesn't have her mic on or something. Anyhow, so let's talk about that. I mean, it's kind of like all in your face, to be honest with you. Oh, hey, Chris, how's it going? Can you hear us? You want to unmute and say hi? We can't hear you. Okay, let me unmute you. Let me see if I can unmute you. Well, I can't unmute you because you don't have your what's going on, but that's okay. That's all right. We're happy to have you here. You can hear us, right? Okay. All right. So she can hear us. All right. So let's talk about this one.
Yeah, this is deep.
Yeah.
So there is, because there is a
All right. Okay. So let's. All right. Okay. So anyhow,
so it's saying because there's a light in your brother as well as in you, that this is for me. There is a light that the Holy Spirit can shed on what he has said.
okay.
Even if you feel it might be a lie,
Right.
there is a light that the Holy Spirit can shine upon that for you to receive. That's what I'm getting.
And I'm actually getting that no matter what your brother's actually saying, if, there's still a message for you. And there's a message that if you just tune into it, that you will understand your brother and you will be able to see things from a perspective and join with your brother. That's what I'm getting from that. I'm glad to hear what you're getting from it. And that's what I'm getting, because it's basically saying your brother has a message for you, but that message is up to you. Yeah. Yep. Yes, that's kind of deep right there. It's definitely kind of deep right here.
Yeah, it's starting to make sense now.
Yeah. 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 And it's important to point out, it's really important, or not really even point out, it's important to remind us of something. Everything that we experience is for us. Everything. Everything. It's just your thoughts being spoken back to you, basically. You know, whatever it is that you perceive, whether it's a voice or not, is just a resonance of your thoughts for you. Messages that you get from someone else, I'm not going to get the same message that you're going to get. I'm going to get different thoughts and different messages.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I communicate with you, then you're not going to really get the same message that I get. So, but if I communicate with you, then you'll get the message from my perspective. But it's my thoughts that are being reflected to me. So I share it with you. I'm just sharing you the message I get, and if you share with me, then we all grow. But everything that you get in this world, everything that you experience and receive in this world is just your thoughts being reflected back at you. That's all it is. In different projections. A projection of me, a projection of my mother, a projection of my father, a projection of your friends and stuff like that. Wow. I'm just trying to. Yeah, I'm just trying to mute people. Okay, all right.
You go, Robert.
Okay. He said it's a projection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
All right. So, you know, and you're just seeing those things reflected back at you, your own thoughts being reflected back at you in the form of different projections. I mean, you really don't perceive me fully because it's just a projection of me. And you're going to get your thoughts being reflected right back to you. So that's in the Course in Miracles there. So, and that basically ties into what it's saying right here when it says the message your brother gives you is up to you. What would you have him say? You know, what would you have him say? Your decision about him determines the message you receive. Your decision about him determines the message you receive. So if that's not your own thoughts, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
All right. So on that note, we're going to take a quick refreshment break and get some water and some fruit over here, and we'll be back in about 8 minutes. All right. Yeah, 8 minutes. All right. I'm trying to keep it under 10, you know? Come on, Mike, come get you some. We just got watermelon and grapes today, so. And we have hot chocolate if you want some. Buddy got us some hot chocolate. Would you like us to make you some? All right. Who else wants some hot chocolate? I'm gonna make it right now.
Good.
All right. I'll make 3 of these.
Yes.
Package that.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole bunch of forks.
Well, no, I thought maybe you won't have some somewhere else. I didn't want to open it because I didn't know. Hold on.
So,
That was my perception. Yeah. Is that entirely?
What?
Do you have entirely?
Yeah, that's what you do. Hey, you got in that, Tahiti or whatever,
I can't see it right there.
stuff, sprinkle on it. Yeah.
I thought,
Is this it here?
that's it right there.
Oh, okay.
I can see it anymore.
I used to see that, didn't we? I'm the one with the eyesight challenge.
Steve,
Yeah.
let me open this thing. I don't want too much to come out.
I give you water.
Hold on, a minute, she's busy.
My gosh, already started, that's,
Up here.
One part open.
well, it is the thingy on
I
the
don't
top.
want too much to come out.
Just
Take
one
it.
like on the side.
Listen for shields, you can't.
Didn't open them. Elevate, shaker top. Bring in my cup, put that on my cup.
I feel sorry for all these Astro fans. I'm not a big baseball fan, so they were really disappointed that the Astros didn't come through.
I'm happy for the other team because they've never won.
Yeah, you know, what happened this time, it never happened before. The visiting team won all of the games.
I know. Mhm. I
It
know.
never happened before, ever.
Isn't that interesting?
No,
That's interesting.
yeah. Well, all the year. World Series is 115 years old, I understand. And that has never happened in 115 years.
I'm just so happy for the
Yeah.
Washington team.
Yeah.
I got the water heating up, running some hot water.
It goes to prove this, 'cause I really think the
Thank you, babe.
Astros had a better regular season record. I think they're a better team. But in the short series, best team doesn't always win.
I just think there was a deeper desire
Well,
in watching. Sometimes when you're hungry, that
Yeah,
there's
maybe
an
so.
extra energy that comes through, Robert.
mhm.
You know, when you're hungry and you want it so badly, you're just hungry for it.
Yeah,
And I think that adds it.
could be. No, basketball season has already started.
Oh, yeah, and that's stupid.
I thought they didn't start till November. They started earlier this year?
Preseason.
No, this is regular season already.
I know regular season.
They did a preseason. I don't know, this might be,
This preseason.
and my boys,
This is preseason?
This
my
preseason.
boy broke his hand.
Who did?
Jeff Barry.
Oh, really?
They
Yesterday.
ain't gonna do nothing right now anyway, but you know, he might as well just
He
rest.
broke his hand.
Yeah, because they gotta get,
Well, I don't think they're gonna be much of a contender this year. They lost
they gotta give him some help if he gonna lose.
Iguodala, whatever his name is, Kevin Durant. Now Steph Curry breaking his
He
hand.
didn't give you anything, Hema?
Oh, yeah.
How they open
Have to take the whole top off.
it?
So I think it's gonna be interesting between, well, Kawhi Leonard is with the Clippers, I think. And Anthony Davis and LeBron James are with the Lakers. You got Kevin Durant, although he's not playing because I'm saying he still hurt.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be hooking up with Kyrie Irving. That's a good combination. So,
I was so disappointed about Steph's Yeah.
Hurry, break his hand.
I missed that game. I just happened to see on the news. Somehow, my ongoing recordings of the team disappeared. I fixed it
Who's
back.
your cable company?
Same as yours.
You got Comcast?
That's Xfinity.
Well,
That's the only one I like. I like all the little bells and
AT&T
whistles.
is pretty good, but they started getting kind of expensive. Direct TV.
I like what the way
Oh,
Xfinity is set up.
oh, you just talk to it and change channels.
And yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, well, I guess if you got a vision impairment, that would be a
Just
good.
what I needed. So how's she doing her meditation? Didn't call me anymore. Ultimately, yeah. I meditating with her, that was it. Yeah, I don't because don't forget about it.
Okay, break time is over.
Yes, sir. Coming.
All right, so we'll do after the other paragraph. Want to be ready after the other paragraph.
Yeah, I enjoyed meditating with her.
Thanks for being our time.
She's really
Thanks for being our
good.
timekeeper, Ed.
Okay.
Appreciate it. All right. Okay.
She says she'd never had that kind of experience.
All right. Anybody want to talk about paragraph 5 anymore?
No, I
No
think,
more. What's coming next?
like it or not, I think we got it.
Yeah, paragraph 5, that was a very profound paragraph.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to paragraph 6. Zeba, would you like to read that paragraph? Zeba, would you like to read that?
You heard?
Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's still on break. All right, Dad, you want to take your time and read paragraph 6?
All right, just 1 minute.
All right,
Okay,
a little bit loud.
yes, sir. You can no more pray for yourself alone than you can find joy for yourself alone. Prayer is the restatement of inclusion directed by the Holy Spirit under the laws of God. Salvation is of your brother. The Holy Spirit extends from your mind to his and answers you. You cannot hear the voice for God and yourself alone because you are not alone. And his answer is only for what you are. You will not know the trust I have in you unless you extend it. You will not trust the guidance of the Holy Spirit or believe that it is for you unless you hear it in others. It must be for your brother because it is for you. Would God have created a voice for you alone? Could you hear his answers except as he answers all of God's sons? Hear of your brother what you would have me hear of you, for you would not want me to be deceived.
All right. Okay. What do y'all think about that?
No, it's Self-explanatory, absolutely.
I like sentence 2. Prayer is the restatement of inclusion directed by the Holy Spirit under the laws of God.
Because it doesn't matter what we're saying in our prayer or what we're praying for. The entire sonship is included in that prayer.
Okay.
We are never praying for ourselves alone
And why is that, Mom?
because there's only one of us.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And I know that to some that may seem kind of radical, that there is only one mind. But I can tell you it's not only in A Course in Miracles that there's only one mind.
It's in the Bible, it's in it's all over. Yeah.
But these thoughts of an individual self, of being individual and individuality are merely constructs. They are merely constructed. Okay? And below that construct of an individual self, there is one mind that is operating beneath the surface. So we merely have a construct of an individual self. We've constructed it. We've built up a little wall in the mind, in the one mind, and we've walled off this one mind and said, this is my kingdom. I will defend it. It will be me. I will establish my borders and no one will cross my borders. These are my borders. But that is only a construct. To truly cut off anything from those borders, you would cease to be. You would cease to be. To truly cut yourself off from love, from the rest of love, you would cease to be just by yourself. You are not to exist by yourself. There is no by yourself. There's only a seeming of by yourself, only of a construct of being by yourself. Does anyone want to expound on that? I know I'm sounding radical. So you're used to it?
I've been sounding radical since you were 2 years old. But
Mom says I've been sounding radical since I was 2 years old.
Heard that.
But there's a song that I learned that it's based on Course in Miracles, and it's and it really says it all. There is only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my perfection. There is only one.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for the solo, Mother. We really appreciate that.
But I sing that song a lot to myself.
That's a beautiful song.
I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can we just acknowledge, well, can I just acknowledge, I have to look past a whole lot of form to see that truth.
Oh yeah, darling, I'm sure. Oh yeah. That's
understand.
why I sing that song a lot.
I can see God easily in 40% of my compatriots,
Yeah.
Mhm,
maybe even 60. But
okay.
there's 40% that I just have to go through. And it says in the preceding paragraph, your brother may not know who he is.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
And that's challenge to me.
Preach, sister.
Mm-hmm. Now you preaching. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Let the church say amen.
Amen. Yeah.
I needed this so bad.
Yeah, it's nice and warm, and yeah, nice warm hot chocolate. Okay. All right.
So, can I say something now?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Okay, so number 12, down to the "for you would not want me to be deceived." I don't know how he got there, from "hear of your brother what you would have me hear of you."
Okay.
Yeah. What does it have to do with deceiving him?
I'm glad you brought that up, Zeba. And we're going to go ahead and look at that right now. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, she's talking about sentence number 12.
I see it.
So I'll start at sentence number 11 to kind of build up to it. Or I actually go to 10. Would God have created a voice for you alone? Could you hear his answer except as he answers all of God's sons? Hear of your brother what you would have me hear of you, for you would not want me to be deceived. So basically what he's saying that the same thing that you would want Jesus to hear of you, hear of your brother. And that's what he's talking about as far as being deceived.
Because the way it's written can be kind of confusing. So it's another way of saying, seeing in your brother the same thing.
The same thing that you want to see Jesus to see in you.
Same thing.
Yeah, and you don't want Jesus to be deceived in what he sees in you, right?
Exactly.
So don't be deceived of what you see in your brother.
So see in your brother the same perfection
that you want Jesus to see in you.
Exactly, because that is what God gave to all of us, was that perfection.
And I know it gets kind of complicated with his beautiful Shakespearean language.
I never thought of it
back in English class. You back in English class, reading Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Yep. So I understand that, Zeba. I get it. And so you keep right on bringing up those questions if you have them, okay?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Do you understand now, though, Zeba?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Rebecca, are you good? All right.
Yes.
Everybody good, or can we move on? All right. All right, Claudia, you want to read number 7? Loud. You're a big girl.
I love you for the truth in you, as God does. Your deceptions may deceive you, but they cannot deceive me. Knowing what you are, I cannot doubt you. I hear only the Holy Spirit in you, who speaks to me through you. If you will hear me, hear my brothers in whom God's voice speaks. The answer to all prayers lies in them. You will be answered as you hear the answer in everyone. Do not listen to anything else, or you will not hear truly. Amen.
All right. All right.
And it's interesting because all through this, it's about hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
But in other words, he really is saying, see it, the same thing.
Well,
Perceive.
Perceive, yes. Perceive,
and see the theme. Let's remember that the Course in Miracles is divided into themes. There's different themes for each. They got a chapter, and then there's different themes. The chapter has a theme, and also each section has a theme as well. The section for this theme is the answer to prayer. Now, all prayer is communication. Okay, communication is prayer. Course in Miracles has already said that, or said that in earlier on in the book. Okay, so now it's talking about the communication between brethren. Okay, so that's just the theme, you know. So basically, see in your brother what you would want me to see in you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hear in your brother what you would want to be heard from you. So, you know, everything is circular.
Of course.
Yep. That was 7, right? Okay. Zeba, do you have any sentences that you need us to look at? Or does anybody have anything that they want to talk about extra about paragraph 7? Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any interpretations?
I'm good here.
Okay.
Yes, it's kind of around that part of the section where it starts to be paragraph after paragraph of restatement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got to get it through our thick skull.
Yeah. Okay, let me just say this one more time.
You know, just one more time for those of you all whose light might be a little bit dim. You know? Oh
It's kind
man.
of like you'll be teaching somebody how to do something, and they'll say, wait. Tell me like I'm a kindergartner.
There you go. Make it simple. Make it simple.
Yeah.
You know, stop all that fancy, smancy Shakespearean talk and tell me something, you know, tell me I can understand. Absolutely.
And the other thing we used to say, what is it? KISS, keep it simple.
Keep it
stupid.
simple, stupid. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I guess we're not gonna talk about any more about that one.
No.
Everybody's good. Everybody has an understanding. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Right.
Look, I think we got the message.
Right. We get it. We get it. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Zeba, you want to read the next paragraph?
Okay, is it to number 8?
Yes. Yes.
Or, believe in your brothers because I believe in you, and you will learn that my belief in you is justified. Believe in me by believing in them for the sake of what God gave them. They will answer you if you learn to ask only truth of them. Do not ask for blessings without blessing them. For only in this way can you learn how blessed you are. By following this way, you are seeking the truth in you. This is not going beyond yourself, but toward yourself. Hear only God's answer in His Son's, and you are answered.
All right. Okay. And let's talk about that.
Another recapitulation.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. He wants us to talk about it some more. So we're gonna talk about it some more. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. As without, so within. We get it. Okay, we get it. All right. So, all right. So, believe in your brothers, but I believe in you. You will learn that my belief in you is justified. Okay. Mhm. All right. They will answer you if you learn to ask only truth of them. Do not ask for blessing without blessing them. For only in this way can you learn how blessed you are. By following this way, you are seeking the truth in you. This is not going beyond yourself, but towards yourself. Hear only God's answer in his sons, and you are answered.
Got it now, Steve?
Yeah, I get it now. I get it now. I get it now. You know, I'm looking through there just to make sure, you know, that he's not like sneaking something in there, you know, sneaking something else in there, you know, some of those like, you know, like number 5, the one number 5 that we read that was really hitting us upside the head. That one, yeah.
But it's like, after that, it was like, okay, here it is, boom. Okay, now, here it is again like this.
Right.
Okay, got it? Okay,
Right.
now, here it is again, just in case you didn't get it the last 2, 3, 4 times.
Right.
Here it is one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, God says, y'all kind of slow.
All right. Okay, so everybody has, you know, same general consensus. We can move on to 9. Okay. All right, Zeba, can we move on to 9?
Let me see. Here where it says, do not ask for blessings. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not it. Number 3. They will answer you if you learn to ask only truth of them. So again, here, I guess it's saying, he's saying, when you learn to only want truth from them, like if I can make my mind up only to hear the truth from them, then they will speak the truth to me.
That's true. And if you really want to hear it flow better, go to 2 first before you get to 3. And it flows even better and just kind of like accentuates the point that you just now got in 3. So if you go from 2, which is believe in me by believing in them for the sake of what God gave them, they will answer you if you learn to ask only truth of them. So it kind of flows directly into 3. It just kind of,
Right.
yeah. 3 kind of accentuates 2. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, what?
I said 3 just kind of accentuates 2, or it kind of brings the point that he was making in number 2. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I think the important point here is in number 3 is that not only by believing in them you can believe in yourself, but also you will receive truth from them just by asking or looking for truth from them, which is really, really important to me. You know, this is a biggie because when I ask someone a question, or, you know, if I'm looking for some answer from a brother and I'm not sure if I'm getting the truth or not, then I probably will not receive the truth. So if I want to receive the truth from them,
You gotta believe that first, that you will receive the truth.
yes, I think that's what it's saying.
That's it, that you got it.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
and I'm going to kind of also say something. Has everybody noticed that in your life, it's like you are the star of your own movie? Like you're a star of the movie, it's starring you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, okay.
It is starting.
Right, exactly. But to understand what it's actually saying is that God gave them everything too. It's saying that God gave them, in other words, the ones who aren't the star in your movie, God gave everything to. Just like God gave you.
They're the star in their movie.
They're the star in their movie as well. Okay? They are the star in their movie. And so you have to kind of see things from that perspective. You have to say, you know, okay, so I get that. God gave them everything, so why wouldn't I believe in them? I mean, how can I say I believe in God and not believe in them? If God gave them everything, just like God gave you everything.
Let's sing it. Everybody, first line, second line. Matching that, right?
That's right.
And listen to it.
And sometimes I just sing that first line to myself. There is only one of us. Sometimes I have to sing it over and over again. There is only one of us. There is only one of us. I have to remind myself sometimes.
Yeah, and serious. I mean, and I have to remind myself, just like I'm the star of my movie, it's starring Stephen Fleming. You know, I have to remind myself that, you know, there's another movie, an adjacent movie going on starring somebody else. And you know something? God gave them everything just like me. And that makes me less self-centered. And then I understand that, you know, God is in my brother or sister. Just like God is in me. And it's the same. And as a matter of fact, it's saying that the same thing that you see in your brothers and sisters is what you're seeing in yourself.
Absolutely. Hello.
That's what it's saying.
Hello.
So, all right. Okay. Well, you know, we're definitely having a good time with this, aren't we? Okay, so where were we? Were we in 8? Okay, so now we are going to 9. Yes, we're going to go to disbelieve. And Rebecca, would you like to read 9?
Sure.
Okay.
To disbelieve is to side against or to attack. To believe is to accept or to side with. To believe is not to be credulous, but to accept and appreciate. What you do not believe, you do not appreciate, and you cannot be grateful for what you do not value. There is a price you will pay for judgment, because judgment is the setting of a price. And as you set it, you will pay it.
Man, it's another one of those hit you upside the head was right here. It's like 5. This is like 5. Now this is okay. Now we can talk about this. You know, even though it's still saying the same thing, but from a different point of view, that kind of hits home. You know, so yeah.
I really get this one.
Yeah.
The judgment thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have worked hard to avoid judging anything. Because judge not, lest ye also be judged.
And what about acceptance, Mom?
Yeah.
That's another one right there. That's another one, acceptance, because you know you may not judge, but that doesn't necessarily mean you accept either.
See, I see the two together.
You think they're the same? You think they go hand in hand?
I see
I said something, it will judge.
Right. Exactly. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, well, maybe it's in line, but at the same time, I think of accepting in line of almost like expectation.
Otherwise, it will be denied instead of, no judgment. You will be just pushing it to the side. And acceptance is really embrace it, judgment. You see the whole entire thing and you embrace it.
Yeah. I've for a long time I've felt that way. Yeah. That's just that same thing for me.
So just a whole like I said, everything, all suffering in the world is based on the non-acceptance of what is, you know, and you know, as far as like, you know, it stems from the desire of what you would have things be as opposed to what they are. So, yeah.
It is what it is, what it is.
Yeah. So in other words, just be. And just be at peace.
In other words, cool.
Right.
One more way.
Quit trying to control everything. Quit trying to control every doggone thing. You know what I mean? Quit trying to have everything as you would just have it. You know? Golly, let it go. Let it go.
You know, and that reminds me of, you know, back in the 60s and 70s when, you know, you walk into a room and everybody's smoking weed, and everybody's high, and some person walks in, hey, everybody, what's up? And everybody says, shh, you're blowing my high. It's cool.
Yeah, I guess that, hey, everybody's accepting there. You know? Yeah. All right. So, all right. So, anybody want to talk about that one? I mean, we did. I guess we're done talking about it already. I mean, I don't hear Zeba say, I'm just trying to make sure. Yeah, I don't hear anybody saying anything.
That means that we got it.
Okay, well, let me just look at it one more time. Hold on, you guys. Let me look at it one more time. All right.
Please, if you want.
You know.
Well, I do think that we're in a litmus test era. Just as there are people who have always been very easy for me to connect with and people who are harder. So our current national situation is one that it's certainly a learning opportunity. And I distinguish between form and.
We can't hear you, Rebecca. We can't hear you anymore. I think you're muted.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Still can't hear you. I didn't mute her.
Yeah, well, if you can't hear me right now, I'd have to call.
We still can't hear you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
It's completely gone.
I could hear her.
Can you hear us, Rebecca? You can hear us? Okay. All right. Well, your voice completely cut out. I don't know what happened. It was sounding good. You were talking about litmus tests and everything. Check your microphone, Rebecca.
I was able to hear her.
Sorry, hold on. Let me say something. Might be us. Hold on.
The speaker. Our speaker.
All right.
Oh, it's no worries. It's like we've been saying, it's repeating a theme anyway.
All right, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I've been able to hear you the whole time. I think it is.
Right. I'm sorry about that. That was us here. We have these over here. The speaker just all started flashing and cut you off, and you know. All right, sorry about that. So you were saying about the litmus test, and please tell us some more.
Oh, well, I do distinguish between whether say it says to believe is, to disbelieve is to side against or to attack. And there is a lot of what is now passes for news that I do not believe. But I try to distinguish between factual misstatements in form and the spiritual truth of the people even who are promulgating those. And as I was hearing Sheila and others saying, to accept all the manifestations of our one self, including what appears to be lies, without judgment, without saying, well, how could they, what kind of person, labeling and reacting against because it extracts a price. So I don't know if anyone else processes that way, but I do see a really big, I feel like this is all about truth, not form. Substance, not form, I believe.
Absolutely. That's a goodie, this section in the course, because it helps remind me not to make judgments about people, because we go back about 25 years or 30 years, something like that.
Yeah.
It was a habit to, you meet somebody or you know somebody and you already have judgments set up about them. The interesting thing that we never got was that when we judged them in a particular way, they continued to show up in that way. You're right, exactly. And because we are all creators, that if we perceive someone in such a way, they're going to show up that way all the time. So yeah, so this really helped me to just be with the person and not be in my mind making certain determinations about who they are based on what I hear coming from their mouth or what they're wearing or anything like that. So that has helped me quite a bit, and I've developed a deeper love for my brothers and sisters because of that. And I tell you, and Stephen knows this because, and Claudia too, I think Robert does too, I say, I love Donald Trump. I don't like what he does, but he is my brother. And I am going to continue to love him. Would I love to see an evolution? Yeah, I would love it, but I'm accepting him just as he is. But I would like to see him gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love him. And so this has been a big help for me because I don't find myself swinging from tree to tree, trying to find only the perfect trees that I like, that I'm comfortable with, or that don't press me to stand fully in love, regardless of how they're being. So that's just what I'm trying to do, is stand fully in love. And yeah, interesting.
And you know what, Sheila, was when you were saying that last week, I was just thinking about it, and I have a vision. I say, yes, when we do that judgment with somebody, let's say, this person is lazy. So I had this vision of me putting this person in a chair, with some shackles, So then I say, I'm not giving him or her the chance to be different, To don't be, for example, in this example is be lazy, to don't be lazy anymore. Because I have this judgment and I have this person, in shackle with that judgment.
Yeah,
so then she cannot write, she cannot be different. Because, and I had this picture like that, like I have it like, hey, so I'm not giving him or her, the right to write, to be right, to do different. So, even if I have a judgment, so
yes,
to be better.
yes.
I have that kind of revelation. Picture.
That's a good. It's kind of like
the forgiveness.
Yeah, it's kind of like nailing them to a cross. The way Jesus was nailed to a cross. Exactly. Exactly.
How am I going to expect them to be different, to be better, or to be whatever? I just keep them there. Keep them there.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, I like that.
From a standpoint of of my growth and development, I'm gonna say it. I'm grateful for Donald Trump, because I was very angry when Donald Trump first took office. I was extremely angry. Okay, and every time I saw him in the news media and stuff like that, I would get this huge charge as I read, I was just like, and I would just get really upset at an America that would allow this to to make it okay and to normalize it and things like that. And so I would get this huge charge. And so over time of looking at why I was so angry, and just looking at it, looking at it, looking at it, looking at it, I was able to grow immensely. I was able to, as I continued to look and look and look and look, it didn't have anything to do with Donald Trump. It really had to do with me. It was like all of my ugliness was just being reflected at this projection. You know what I'm saying? All of my ugliness that I had inside of me was being reflected at this projection, this public figure projection. And so now when I see Donald Trump, I can look at the article and not feel that charge that I once felt. I don't feel that charge that I once felt. So honestly, if I look at it from that standpoint, I'm actually grateful. From that standpoint of how I have cleaned up things that were in me, I'm grateful. It was an uncomfortable type of thing. I'm not gonna sit up here and say it felt good at the time. It did not. But I can definitely look at it from a standpoint of, and I can remember how I felt then. Or I can remember, okay? And how I feel now is completely different. And so I can't help but reflect on the difference and not feel grateful. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get it.
This don't have nothing to do with this man. You got me? You understand what I'm saying? This has nothing to do with that person, okay? This has everything to do with me, nothing to do with him, and everything to do with me. So that's what I'm just saying. So from that standpoint, I'm grateful.
I was very grateful that he was elected because of the fact that there were many things about which we were in denial.
I wasn't grateful that he was elected at the time, but I am now. I got what you're saying.
Yeah. And I knew that now we had to face many things that we had pushed down and denied because this is America, so therefore everything is perfect.
Yeah.
Right, and we could see that everything was not perfect, but everybody was walking around with their little blinders on.
Yeah.
And now it's all brought to the surface.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say the same thing as far as everybody else in America. What you're seeing, if you're experiencing that charge, what you are really seeing is a culmination of something that's in you. That's what you're seeing. And so, this country, Donald Trump was just a collective manifestation. You know what I'm saying? It was just a collective manifestation is what it was. Okay? That's all it was.
Totally agree. And so everything in here that we've been talking about and reading about tonight, you can just transfer it right over into Donald Trump.
And I'm gonna say something else. There are people all over the United States in Course in Miracles groups and stuff like that have been going through the same spiritual awakening. So if you look at it from that standpoint, it's like Donald Trump was really here to help us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you understand what I'm talking about? I mean, it's like there was like this huge divine purpose behind it all. Because there's so many people that are waking up spiritually. From 2016 until there are so many people that are waking up spiritually now.
I knew that from the moment.
Well, I didn't.
I did. I did. I got right. I got it immediately. I did. Exactly.
All right. So where do we leave off at, you guys? I'm just trying to.
Stephen, if I may ask another question.
Sure. Thank you, Ziba.
Okay. Thank you. So the last sentence, no, the one before, where it says, there's a price you will pay for judgment, because judgment is the setting of a price. And, when I look at the sentences before that, I don't know how we got to judgment from there. I mean, I understand those, and I understand this one, number 5, but I don't understand the relationship between what came before number 5 and then number 5.
Yeah. Let's go over it again, because we started the meeting started kind of taking on its own little flow. So let's go right back and take a look. Let's see.
Why don't you read?
She's talking about okay. She's talking about paragraph number 9. So
No, I know, and
I'll read
the judgment.
I'll read the whole paragraph.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say the sentence before that statement.
Sentence number
The sentence,
4.
yeah,
All right.
and then read that.
What you do not believe, you do not appreciate, and you cannot be grateful for what you do not value. There is a price you will pay for judgment, because judgment is the setting of a price.
Exactly.
And as you set it, you will pay it. As you set that price, you will pay that price.
Just and exactly what we were talking about what's going on around Donald Trump, is that there's a price for all of those who have judged Donald Trump as something bad and destroying the country and the world and our democracy and so forth and so on.
That's basically what it's saying. So I want you to hear, Z. I mean, we're just giving you what we're doing is we're giving you a today's current event explanation of what you're asking.
And so now we're paying a price for it, because there is so much anger and chaos and fighting and so forth that's going on. And that's the price we're paying for that judgment. Does that make sense?
Ziba?
So the judgment was with regards to Donald Trump?
Right.
No, we're giving you an example in a current event.
Right.
I understand.
To explain that just in everyday terms, that because this is Shakespearean. So in order to, first of all, when this was written, it's not written for any time frame. So if it was written for a time frame, it would be written for the 70s, okay, or the 60s when it was actually being written, okay. But it's not written for a time frame. But we can relate it with different time frames. So if we're going to relate it with any time frame, let's relate it with today's time frame, what's going on today. So we were just relating that paragraph of what's going on today and to emphasize what it's saying. So, but yes, as you set the price for things, you're going to pay those same prices. Right. As you evaluate things and set the value for certain things and stuff like that, yeah, you're going to pay the same price for that value that you're setting.
And we're paying a high price in our country today for that value judgment that we placed on Donald Trump.
Just like we paid a price, for certain things that were in place before he came. Okay? which actually led up to the manifestation of him actually being put where he is now. Okay, so and it continues on and on. Ziba, you know, as we set these values and things like that, then we have to pay the same price for the values that we set. Does that make sense?
Okay. Not completely, but my heater is on, so I don't want to talk.
You said your what is it? Oh, your
Heater is on.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. It's all right.
It was just such a good example of a current situation that's really huge in our country and in our world today. And the chaos and anger and violence and all that stuff that has arisen because of that judgment.
And prior judgment.
And prior judgment.
And prior judgment.
And prior judgment. Yeah.
Cold out there.
All right. So, we can start back up at 9 because it is now 9 o'clock. So we can start back up at 9 next Thursday. And we'll just talk about it some more, Ziba. How's that?
That's great.
All right, cool. So we are going to go ahead and pray out.
Hey, Mom, why don't you sit?
Beloved Father, Mother God, in whom we live and move and have our being, we are so grateful for this amazing study that we do each week with you and with each other. And as we go forward tonight, may we take with us all that we have discerned, all that we have taken in, all that we have discovered about ourselves and our brothers, and move into our daily lives in this world, living what we have shared and discovered tonight, that we may be a light unto the world. And for this and so much more, we are truly grateful in the name and after the loving nature of our elder brother, way shower and master teacher, Jesus the Christ. And so it is, for it could not be otherwise. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
All right.
So Rebecca, thank you for joining us, and Ziba, thank you so much. And sorry about the technical difficulties. Still trying to iron them out and stuff like that. Got to have some better chords and stuff like that. So we're working on that stuff, you know?
Enjoy you guys tonight.
It's definitely been a pleasure.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Good night, Ziba. Good night, Rebecca.
Night.
All right, you guys. All right.
It's really good tonight.